Hi and welcome to the We Need Roads podcast and our second podcast of 2023. And David, you will walk many miles, dozens will become hundreds, hundreds will become thousands, and your adventures will continue for years and years. That is a quote, David, from a trailer from an upcoming film we're going to be talking about on this episode. Do you recognise that quote?
I do not know.
Well, David, it is from one of, or I assume it's going to be one of your most anticipated films of the year.
Is it Bayou?
Bo. It's pronounced Bo.
Is it?
Bo is afraid. Yes. How would you pronounce it? Please say it again, please.
I was saying Bayou.
Bayou.
Is it Bo?
Bayou is afraid. It's Bo. Definitely Bo.
Oh, I don't know words.
Now I'm afraid of David's pronunciation. Well, folks, yes, after that shit show to the start, this is going to be the first part of our preview episode where we're going to delve into all the great movies 2023 potentially has for us. So the format is going to be, we're going to run through all the films by month of release at the time of recording and give our excitement rating out of 10 at the end of each film we talk about. And then at the end of the next episode, we're going to give you our top 10 most anticipated films of 2023. But for this episode, we're going to cover all the films we're interested in from now until August. And well, David, it's been a busy January at the cinema. And as we record this, I've already seen Emperor of Light, Tar, Megan, Babylon, Unwelcome, The Whale, and The Fabelmans. All of which we're going to be talking about.
Stop showing off.
Well, I was going to ask David, out of those films, which ones have you seen?
I don't want to.
I'm not going to expose you online. That's fine.
I expose myself online all the time. You can check out my Tinder account.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, that's it. That's the word I was looking for. My OnlyFans account.
Yeah, David's got a wedding to pay for, people. It's worth a subscription. So, we're going to move straight on into the pod, and here we are in February. And the first big film out of the gate is Knock at the Cabin.
Yes.
That's directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, Dave Bautista, and Rupert Grint. Now, we've reviewed the trailer on a previous episode, and this is a Cabin in the Woods horror, based on the great book by Paul Tremblay, and it was infinitely better titled The Cabin at the End of the World. And for me, as long as M. Night doesn't change the story and the ending, he's going to have a much better critical response than to his last film, The Panned Old. Look, I've read the book, and I cannot wait for people to see Bautista's performance in this as Leonard, the single best character in the book. All the marketing, though, for this film has been around the tagline, Make the Choice, and that is the central crux of the plot, in that this group of outsiders invade a family home in the woods where a couple and a young daughter are vacationing and they are faced with an impossible choice to make. However, please avoid the second trailer that's just come out for this if you want to go in as blind as possible, because that new trailer does reveal the choice they have to make. And, you know, why? You know, we kind of get what we know it's going to be about.
I said it. It's out there.
You arsehole. Look, I'm really looking forward to this one. Bautista's wearing glasses, David, and as we know, glasses Bautista equals great acting Bautista. Just ask Denis Villeneuve. He was brilliant in Hotel Artemis when he had glasses on briefly.
The biggest draw of this film is how small scale it is, whilst still being world-ending in scale.
Yeah.
It's got the best of both worlds.
I don't really want to go more into it because obviously, like I say, I know how it goes because I've read the book. Although I can't actually remember the ending properly, but I just
can't have been that good then.
No, it was a very good book. I just remember going, yeah. So my excitement level for this, David, I am really. This is the film. Actually, no, it's not even the most film. It's not even the film I'm looking forward to most in February. But I'm still giving it an 8 out of 10 on the old excitement meter. What about you?
What else is coming out in February?
You'll find out literally after this.
I think it's Antman. Oh, yeah, no, I'm excited for it. Same, about an 8, yeah.
About an 8, okay. Well, next up, David, the film that I am looking forward to the most of the month.
Magic Mike's Last Dance.
No,
yes.
You heathen, it's Cocaine Bear.
Channing Tatum's back.
Cocaine Bear's back. I mean, not that he ever went anywhere. Yeah, Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks, starring Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Aldrin Ulrich, and Ray Liotta. And again, from the brilliant trailer that we recently discussed, I cannot wait for Cocaine Bear. This is Elizabeth Banks back in a director's chair after the shockingly bad Charlie's Angels, and it's a true-ish story of a large black bear that ingested a ton of cocaine and went on a rampage. Now, the trailer definitely lets us know what type of film we're going to be in for. It's a pure action, comedy, horror hybrid of a film that definitely looks like it's not going to take itself too seriously and has some great music use in the trailer. Also, potentially, the late, great Ray Liotta's final on-screen role. This, David, gets a 9 out of 10 for me on the excitement scale. Are you high on Cocaine Bear?
Yeah, I've been taking some snow, and I'm a bit of below there here, and I think I'm up for it. I think we should have a watch party with this. get a couple lines, and enjoy ourselves.
Please don't do drugs, people. Unless you like to. Unless you're David, who's I don't know what's happened. You've broken the format already. Stop doing cocaine, David. You're not a bear. You can't handle it. Your tiny body will just be racked.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was your rating?
I'd like another 8. Another 8.
And you'd like another 8th, did you say?
Everything's an 8. Everything's an 8. I've just seen Howard the Duck with boobs. That was weird.
Horrific. So next up, David, the film that you've already mentioned for the month of February, and that is Antman and the Wasp: QuantiumMania.
When's Magic Mike coming in?
Do you know what? Have I even got it on the list, David? I might have missed it.
That's horrific.
You can fill that in for me if you want. So, yeah, Antman and the Wasp: QuantiumMania, directed by Peyton Reed, starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Catherine Newton, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jonathan Majors, and Bill Murray. Unless he's been fired, we're not sure. Something happened and Bill Murray may have been cancelled. Was he half cancelled? I'm not sure. Anyway.
What happened to Bill Murray, people?
He was just Bill Murray and people got offended, apparently. But he's always been Bill Murray, and therefore, I don't know. Despite this being the first film in Marvel's Phase 5, I was quite underwhelmed by the first trailers for this. And ironically, Ant-Man's always kind of been focused on a smaller, more personal story each time. So this time introducing Kang, the Prime Kang, if He Who Remains was telling the truth in Loki, then this feels, ironically, like a small-scale way to kick off Phase 5. And the one thing I really didn't like in the first trailers we saw, David, was I hate the trope of smart kid does something stupid that apparently kicks off Phase 5. So, if Phase 5 and Kang is all because Scott's kid did something stupid with science, then I'm not going to be happy. That's a shit way to get into where we're going to go. But hey, on the bright side, it looks like they've given Michelle Pfeiffer something to do this time round. Paul Rudd's always excellent, and we really await how great Jonathan Majors is going to be as the now official Prime version of Kang. And yeah, Bill Murray's in it, maybe, hopefully still. But do you know what? I'm only mildly excited by this, David. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. What about you?
5? No, I've mentioned previously, I've really just... it's maybe not even MCU fatigue. I think it's just...
Franchise fatigue?
A combination of bad films from them, and now you've just lost all faith in where it's going.
Yeah.
So I've just stopped caring a little bit.
I mean, I'm going to go and see it.
Like, for instance, I hadn't seen Wakanda Forever. I'm going to wait until that's out, I think, in a week on Disney+. Even that, I'm like, well, what's actually... There's only one film that's been good, which was the Spider-Man film.
No Way Home.
That was simply because of all the multiverse aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. I like Doctor Strange. We like Doctor Strange. That's come since. But that was like a... Was
it? Everything Everywhere All at Once came in the same month, basically. It just shat all over it.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean one film's good and one's bad.
It does. All Doctor Strange needed to do was watch like any episode of Rick and Morty to know how to do anything multiverse related. Yeah.
So, what's your rating? Excitement rating, David? I'm giving it a mild 6, a 5. Wow, that's like the meh, isn't it? That's like
it is. It's the merest of meh I could have give. Yeah.
You're the mayor of Mayertown.
That's it.
Okay, well that moves us on to another word beginning with M, March, and a film that you're going to be very excited for, David. It is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves, directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, starring Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Hugh Grant, and Regé-Jean Page. David, you're the D&D expert. Take it away.
Yes.
Try not to make any spills on the carpet.
There's not this. I don't know how I can explain this in a D&D sense. I suppose it's just based on the popular role-playing game. In the trailer, you can see owlbears. You can see like the gelatinous cube.
Love a good owlbear.
You can tell everyone's their own little characters. You know, so Chris Pine's the bard. You've got the druid. Yeah, they're all in there. Everyone's kicking about. And recently on Amazon Prime, the Tales of Vox Machina has just dropped. So if you'd like some Dungeons and Dragons fun, Season 2 of Vox Machina is out on Amazon Prime to thirst your appetite whilst you're waiting for this to come out.
Do you know what, David? I will admit, this trailer looks very fun. And I like the idea that they've gone part fantasy, part heist film. And it's a clever way to get into the characters, isn't it? And into the world building. I think the comedy hits very well in the trailer. And like you already mentioned, there's plenty of great D&D references for fans.
The whole thing's D&D. Like, the trailer's littered. I mean, it's a D&D film. It's obviously going to have everything. But like, there's loads of popular references. Like, for instance, the Gelatinous Cube and the Owlbear and that sort of stuff. Like, the famous Dungeons and Dragons.
For me, the trailer for this almost felt like the trailer for Ragnarok in places. You know, you got that mix of comedy and fantasy, and not to mention also using a remix of a Led Zeppelin song, Whole Lot of Love. Like, do you know what? Filmmakers over the age of 40 love their classic rock in modern movie trailers, don't you know? So, you know what though? A good cast and an impressive first trailer. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10, David. What about you? It's going to be higher, isn't it?
9. This will be. You know how I am with like cinema trips, Neil.
Yeah, this will be
a cinema trip.
Well, will the next film, David, be a cinema trip? And that is a film that I can't believe is out already, because it seems like we literally only just saw the last film last year, which we did. And that's Scream 6. Directed by the same directors as 5, Matt Bettini Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Starring Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega from the last film. But they're bringing back Scream 4's Hayden Panettiere, Save the Cheerleader, Save the World. Courtney Cox is in it now. And they're also bringing in Samara Weaving.
You say like Courtney Cox hasn't always been in it. She's in like every one, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I just don't know where I was going with that intro. So yeah, okay. I wasn't overly blown away by Scream 5, right? You know, it was perfectly fine, but I think I watched it once in the cinema and I've not watched it again since. And it's weird because I loved the director's previous film, Ready or Not, and the star of that film was Samara Weaving, who's been added to the cast of Scream 6. I suppose the key changes up front are that Neve Campbell refused to come back after a lowball pay offer from the studio, and the film is also moving from a small town to the big city for the first time. And we're bigger than the Big Apple.
I'm actually quite excited by the fact that Scream is going to branch out of Woodsboro, and it's going to actually... I get like but Jesus Christ, you just wouldn't live in that town. No, how many people have died in that town by these serial killers going around? There's like a serial killer every year. Fucking hell, you just leave, wouldn't you? It's like Midsummer. How many people live in Midsummer? Why are you still staying there? House prices there must be fucking well cheap in Woodsboro.
The only funny thing for me, man, when I saw this first trailer, moving a horror franchise to New York literally just made me think, oh, it's Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, so this could either flop terribly for them, or it could be a new breath of life for them. So I'm hoping it's a new breath of life. I'm looking forward to it. They've brought in all the old casters. Like Hayden Panettiere surprised me because I thought she died in the 4th film.
Well, clearly she didn't.
Because I got confused between her and the actress that's in A Good Place. What's her name?
Kristen Bell.
Yeah, because there's the beginning of that film starts off with them watching the film, and then she stabs him, and then it ends up being a film that they're watching, and I'm like, oh, okay, but I flipped the characters in my head.
Yeah.
So I was quite surprised when Hayden Panettiere was in this. I was just like, hang on a second, wasn't she a fake character in something else?
I'm wondering, though, if she's going to be the pre-credits sacrificial lamb. There's always a pre-credits sacrificial lamb, isn't there?
Yeah, I think based on the trailer, she did seem pretty in it.
Can't believe trailers all the time, man. Also, I'm calling it now, David. My prediction is Samara Weaving will be the killer. Because she was the director's heroine in their previous film, Ready or Not. And she was also brilliant as a villain.
Well, there's always two, mate, so...
Well, that would be a twist then if there wasn't, if it was just her.
There's some formats that you can't change. There's always two. It's a slasher film, after all. There's always two.
She was also a brilliant villain in... Do you ever see the film The Babysitter on Netflix?
Yeah, of course.
She was brilliant in that as the villain. So
yeah, second one was quite decent as well, but not as good.
I fell asleep a little bit in, but not forgetting you've also got the return of Scream 5 stars Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, and of course, arguably Ortega's star is massive at the minute after the success. I mean, last year she had Scream 5, X,
yeah, she's
and
blown
Wednesday.
Up. She's blown
massive.
Up. She's blown up like in a similar vein to how
that person you're trying to think of.
Anna. No, what? Oh my God, what's her name? She's in no, she's I don't even think it's Anna.
This is sterling radio content brought to you by We Needed Roads.
You know, that actress that I'm trying to think of.
That actress that was in that thing.
Exactly
and
like
she got
Anya
blown
Taylor-Joy did. Bam.
Anya Taylor-Joy?
Anna. Yeah.
Do you mean Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, I said Anya Taylor-Joy. I just got the I missed out the
David, how old are you?
I don't want to mention this.
Ish.
30.
Okay, so I'm just saying you made me want to see a brain person.
Oh, I'm 100%. Like, my brain's fucked. I don't stand a chance when I'm old. Yeah, but she is blowing up in a similar vein to how Anna Taylor-Joy did. Yeah,
she's a good mix between movies and TV. So, yeah. Right, where do I stand on Scream 6? I'm going to go a 6 for Scream 6.
Yeah, I think that's a decent shout. 6, maybe a 7. I'm gonna go 7.
Two things I noticed in the trailer. One thing I didn't like: Ghostface uses a shotgun. I was like, but you stab people.
That was surprising. I mean, he doesn't bring the shotgun in with him.
No, he just makes use of
because slashers. It's all about using the knife
Slashing.
because it's penetrative, isn't it? Like the reason why you use a knife is because it's like a dick, and you're penetrating the person. That's the whole point of it.
And if the police need to know where to go for the crimes, then it's David. It's David's house. Also, what I liked was how they worked the 6 into the logo at the end of the trailer, where like the M kind of fell off and the blood went down it to illustrate the 6. That was very nice. Best title on a credit I've seen this year. And David, from Scream 6 in New York, we're going back to another film that has the word 6 in the title. And a 5.
6 and 65.
Yep. I mean, that's literally the name of the film, David.
65. Oh, okay.
Directed by Scott Beck and Brian Wood, starring Adam Driver, Ariana Greenblatt, and Nika King. Yep, it's Adam Driver versus dinosaurs.
I don't think I've heard this.
You have? You've seen the trailer. We talked about it.
Oh, I have seen this. I didn't realise that was his name.
65 million.
Oh,
It's called 65. Yeah, it's basically a Planet of the Apes style dinosaur story.
My bad, guys.
With we've already established your brain should be related to medical science. Like in a week.
They wouldn't get much out of it, to be fair.
No, but just to figure out how and why. So yeah, it's
carve it out and use it as a bin,
as an ashtray. It's a Planet of the Apes dinosaur story with Driver, a space pilot. Hey, he should have left the flying to Poe Dameron. Just saying. Who crash lands on a prehistoric Earth, and it's directed by A Quiet Place writers Scott Beck and Brian Wood. So we've got Kylo Ren versus dinosaurs with a quality script. I think this could be an early year minor hit. I think you actually mentioned it, David. You wished that they'd kept the dinosaur twist hidden in the early trailers. But hey, as we mentioned, people love dinosaurs, and Jurassic World Dominion, which is frankly not great, was the third biggest film of last year.
The dinosaurs sell it, don't they? That's why it's there, because the dinosaurs sell.
Perhaps they should have done a little teaser trailer for a week or two and then dropped like the dinosaurs. But hey, if your movie has dinosaurs in it, you damn well sure make sure the audience knows it has dinosaurs in it. This is going to be a solid 8 out of 10 for me, David. It's Kylo Ren versus dinosaurs. What more do you want?
I'll go 8 out of 10 as well. I'm all you know what, we're being nice to each other today.
Not intentionally.
No, but we seem to be agreeing. It's not. You know what? It's a refreshing change.
Well, from a refreshing change to the fury of the gods, David. Shazam 2. Directed by David F. Sandberg, starring, and hold your breath, Zachary Levi, Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, Rachel Zegler from West Side Story. So this is going to be a weird one because this is another pre-James Gunn era DC film that now kind of hangs in limbo. Although Shazam himself, Zachary Levi, has tweeted cryptically that he thinks Shazam is safe from the current DC cull, though admittedly with its ties to Black Adam, who really knows anymore, except James Gunn. Having said that, I really enjoyed the first Shazam film. For me, it was like a superhero version of Big, and now the sequel sees Billy Batson and all his step-siblings having power after the end of the first film. And well, some of the gods aren't happy about it, and they're going to be played by Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren. And you must have seen the joke in the trailer, the Fast and the Furious joke, where he's trying to do a joke about family, and Mirren's just looking at him like, you dickhead. It's about family. Yeah. I think this is going to be fun, but I don't know if any of it matters anymore because of the Gunnification of the DCU. Which I'm all for, but I don't know what happens.
Yeah, but that's kind of it. Like, it's kind of, you feel like it's a little irrelevant now. Like, it would have been nice if maybe this is going to still have Black Adam come into it in some way or shape or form and have, they're still going to make some sort of tie there.
I think the currently shot DC films, if anything, they've gone and removed cameos from the other Justice League characters.
Yeah, so it's all a bit pants at the moment, which is what this has got, a massive shadow over it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the other films that have been affected later on as well.
Yeah, but yeah, I quite like. I agree. I quite like the first Shazam film. I feel like Helen Mirren being the big bad in this is a mistake because I feel like that's limiting. You can't beat up
Helen Mirren.
Yeah, and I feel like it's limiting on action sequences that you could do, because Helen Mirren's not going to go around like, she's. When you think action sequences, you don't think Helen Mirren.
No, sadly not. No, I mean, I've always been a big Zachary Levi fan. Did you ever see his show he did back in the day called Chuck? Where he was a computer nerd guy?
Yes, yeah.
I love Chuck, man. That was awesome. Like, he should have been a massive star after that. And he kind of went over to the MCU and was one of the Warriors 3 and didn't really get to do a lot. So then, except get horribly killed by Kate Blanchett in Ragnarok. And now he's got his own franchise. So, yeah, this will be fun. I'm going an 8 out of 10 on this.
6.
Well, the next film we're going to be talking about is the 4th chapter. And that's actually the name of the film, Chapter 4. John Wick.
John Wick. Yeah.
Chapter 4. Directed by Chad Stahelski again, starring Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, and Bill Skarsgård on villain duties. And after the thrilling climax of John Wick 3, everyone is gunning for Keanu Reeves' titular action hero. I mean, who thought we'd get to 4 films in this series? Because every film...
Before you go into this, I've not actually seen Chapter 3 yet. It's that sort of franchise that I kind of just watch when I want to watch it. It's not one that I'm like, oh, I've got to watch the next one.
I think for me, the action's so good in John Wick. I bar the first film, which kind of came and went and no one really knew in the cinema, and then it kind of got its life on DVD and streaming, didn't it? It's kind of what made it a big hit. I never thought we'd get to 4 films in this series, because every film they do such a great job of you thinking there is absolutely no way he survives that film. But in John Wick 4, we've got Hong Kong action legend Donnie Yen added to the cast. And again, he looks from the trailer like he could potentially be an ally to him. You know, starts off having a fight, because obviously they have to fight, because he's Donnie Yen. But then I reckon they'll probably be on the same side. And Pennywise himself, Bill Skarsgård, is on new villain duty. I think the John Wick films are rare in an action franchise that they've started well, and they've improved each and every instalment.
Is Donnie Yen the guy that played IP Man?
Yes.
Or Ip Man? I can't remember. I don't know what it is. It is.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I know the man.
So I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I will be there opening night for this, hands down.
I'm going to say like a 5, just because I still haven't seen the third one.
Yeah.
So
and then
I'd be
go
lying
up to
if I said
an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
You want to watch the third one, right, about a day or two before you potentially go and see the fourth one. Or you watch it and then go, shit, I watch it around the time it's out in the cinema and go, shit, I need to go and see the fourth in the cinema. Because it's a spectacle film.
Is the third one out streaming anyway? Yeah. Let me go and just watch.
Go to justwatch.com.
I am. I'm on it now.
Well, while you're, searching for your Wick, your third Wick, we're on to April, David, and the first animated film of the year. And that is the Super Mario Bros. Movie, directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, starring Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, and Jack Black. And again, we discussed this on a recent episode, and the first few trailers have really charmed me into wanting to see this. I suppose playing the original games back in the day, I was always a Nintendo over Sega kid. And, bar the trolls not liking Princess Peach being an active protagonist and the accent controversy, honestly, what does Pratt do? If he goes full-Italian stereotype, he's going to sound slightly racist, and if he ignores it completely, it's not adhering to the source material. So I think they've kind of made the right choice there. And I'm just really pumped to see this. I can't wait, like you said with the D&D, I cannot wait to see how many Nintendo and classic Mario Brothers Easter eggs we're going to get in this film. I mean, Yoshi's got to come out at some point, man. Give me my Yoshi, David. This gets, from me, a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm quite looking forward to this as well. I'd say about a 7 as well. I think Jack Black's Bowser looks and sounds hilarious. Just from the trailer, it's like that. It just from the trailer, you can tell it's got that like level of childish comedy, which also appeals to adults as well. There's a fine line there between making it sort of like the Lego Movie, where it had that sort of it ran that line pretty well, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's made by Illumination, the studio behind the Despicable Me and Minions films, and every one of those is a massive hit, right? So, couple that with like the Super Mario Bros. IP, this will. I'm predicting now this will be the biggest animated film of the year, hands down. It might even make it in the top 10 most successful films of the year at box office.
Yeah.
And then next up, David, we go from a land with mushrooms everywhere to I don't even know how to get a segue to this because it's Renfield, directed by Chris McKay. Starring Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage. Nick fucking Cage! Also Awkwafina and Ben Schwartz. And this is based on an idea from Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman. And it's a horror comedy about Dracula's lackey Renfield, who finds he wants to escape the clutches of his master's reach. Now, director McKay, he's made 3 seasons of Robot Chicken and the frankly blur Chris Pratt action of The Tomorrow War last year that I've forgotten already. However, the trailer does seem quite fun. And of course, man, you get Nick Cage as Dracula. However, the one weird thing about this trailer was I really got a vibe that I was watching just a big screen version of What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series, which had already been a film. So I'm like, the whole thing about...
I didn't get that. It's totally different type of comedy.
No, I didn't think so.
They'll probably hit similar beats, in terms of like, you know, I mean, how much?
It's literally about a vampire's familiar wanting to get away. I mean, I know in What We Do in the Shadows, it's like obviously Guillermo wanting to become.
Go at it in a different approach, mate.
It was the therapy thing though in the trailer. It's like this feels so much like What We Do in the Shadows. But hey, it's Nick Cage's Dracula, man. So for me, that gets a 7 out of 10. That gets 7 Nick fucking
Holt
Cages.
As well I think Nicholas Holt's going to be the one that's comes out of this as more of a.
Oh yeah,
he's a star figure anyway, but he's going to come out of it. I feel like he's going to be a better.
Do you know how many Nicolas Cage pods are going to come for you?
I know.
All of them.
I know. Maybe we cut that all together.
Caged in.
I should
Rage
lock the
Cage
doors on the house.
Yeah, you should move to somewhere where
I love
Nick
Nicolas Cage, but I feel like because
Everything's
he's
forgiven.
been put on such a pedestal with this film already before it's even out, just because it's like Dracula. It's like seeing him in the Superman film that never happened, you know?
Well, here's your chance. You've already said you love Nicolas Cage. That gets a few of them away from murdering you. And what do you give this out of 10?
I'm looking 7. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that stops you getting murdered by all the Cage pods. Well done. And David, here's a question. Are you afraid? Because who's afraid, David?
I am, apparently.
No. Oh, good God.
I'd give this because I don't know what you're going into. Is it Bay? Oh, is it Bay? Is that what you were on about? Is this the Ari Aster film?
Yes!
Is this...
Pronounce it, please. Please for me. Pronounce it one
Bayou.
more time. It's not Bayou. It's Bo.
It's Bayou.
Bo is afraid.
If it was Bo, it'd be B-O.
That was Bo. What you have in your arms. I always have a W on it. Bo is afraid. So, Bo is Afraid is the third film from Ari Aster, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Nathan Lane, Amy Ryan, and Patti LuPone, amongst a lot of others. And now this film was previously known as Disappointment Boulevard.
I preferred that title. I'm throwing it out there.
Did you? Okay. They'll probably throw you out there as well. Aster has described his new film as a decade-spanning surrealist horror film set in an alternative present, in which Phoenix plays an extremely anxious but pleasant-looking man who has a fraught relationship with his overbearing mother and never knew his father.
But pleasant-looking man? Did you just
Pleasant-looking man, yes. This is from the official Wikipedia description.
He's pretty good-looking, I suppose.
No, he's not pretty good-looking. He's pleasant-looking.
Pleasantly looking, yeah.
That's the difference. Not good, pleasant. When his mother dies, he makes a journey home that involves some wild supernatural threats. Now, the first trailer just dropped, and as expected, it's pretty fucking mad. I have no idea what...
crazy.
Yeah, I've got no idea what genre this film's going to fall in, and I suspect A24 and Ari Aster might have a problem marketing this as anything other than the new Ari Aster film. And is he really at the point yet where he can have his own film be his own genre?
No, he's only had two films.
I know, and this is
how can your third film be the new Ari? You know, it's way too early in his career.
Wes Anderson became his own genre, didn't he?
But he did.
Well, Wes Anderson did it. So he's on I feel like he's on the Wes Anderson path a little bit here. I mean, I'm fairly excited for this as well, man, because, you know, Phoenix is always amazing in whatever he does, and this film looks truly mind-bending. I like the fact that it looks like Aster's evolving as a filmmaker rather than just making another straight-ahead horror. Bizarrely, from the trailer, I kind of got a big Tim Burton vibe. You know, I got a little bit of Big Fish in it.
I can see Big Fish, yeah.
And a bit of slice of Stephen King's Misery, because you see the bit where he's in the accident and then he's in this place that people won't let him leave. Now, David, we know you're excited for this because this was your most anticipated film of the year last year when it didn't come out. Yeah. So for me, though, this trailer has me hooked. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. For you?
9 out of 10 as well. 9 out of 10. To be fair, I think the trailers knocked it from 10 out of 10 to 9 out of 10. Just because it was so bonkers in loads of different areas, I wasn't 100% sure, and because no one knew what to expect.
I figured that might happen. I figured because last year you put it at number 1 without even an image or trailer from the film, and now you've seen the trailer.
Ari Aster was enough for me, and that was just off Midsummer, and I fucking loved Midsummer.
Well, from a modern horror master, we go to a potential heir to the throne of horror. Young Irish director who's relatively unknown, Lee Cronin, who's only made one previous film, 2019's A Hole in the Ground, and he has got the reins to Evil Dead Rise, starring Alyssa Sutherland, Eddie Sullivan, Gabrielle Eccles, Morgan Davis, and Neil Fisher.
Bro, the most awesome thing just happened.
What?
You said so. The trailer. It wasn't that awesome. The trailer starts with a massive thunderclap, right? Yeah. So you go Evil Dead Rise. I play the trailer, and it's. It was like Do you know when you just perfectly timed
Pure
things in life?
synchronicity.
It was beautiful.
All I got from that, David, was I am perfect and beautiful. So yeah, I will take that compliment. So yet another new chapter in the Evil Dead franchise, and this is another reboot of sorts. And this time there's no Bruce Campbell's Ash and no connections that we're aware of at the minute to the 2013 reboot by Fede Alvarez. However, the trailer's recently dropped, and I will fully admit, dude.
It looks.
Jesus.
It does look good.
It looks. Oh,
it looks.
It
fun.
made me grimace and want to hold myself several times, especially the cheese grater moment.
Have I seen that one?
Dude, there's a cheese grater. There's a cheese grater on someone's leg.
Evil.
Anyway, while I wait for you to shout and go, when you hear the cheese grater. So I will say, Beth, played by Lily Sullivan, pays a visit to her sister Ellie, Vikings Alyssa Sutherland, and their 3 kids in a cramped LA apartment. And when they discover a mysterious book in the bowels of the building, well, you know the rest. This looks gnarly as all hell, and you really can't beat a good R-rated red band trailer. And the R is for red blood, because there's buckets of it. I even got flashbacks to Dario Argentero's Demons.
There's one just in the trailer. I'm watching it at the moment. There's a bit in it where you've got the person in the foreground and then the other people in the background, but it's the 2 shots on top of each other because it's a bit like, I fucking hate it. I hate it when films do that. It's one of those things that really grinds on me, and it's in a lot of horrors as well. I think. Well,
I was just saying, this reminds me of 70s classic giallo director Dario Argentero, because he had this film called Demons, when you had a whole bunch of demonic entities running wild in a tower block. It looks like the whole subtext of this film is going to be about motherhood, but I was kind of hoping this might be more of a self-contained family story, and I'm hoping we get to see multiple Deadites run right all over the building. Although, I'm still quite hyped for this, but it does look really fucking nasty.
It looks small scale, which I prefer in my horror films. I don't like with horror. I hate it when they go crazy big scale. Keep it small, compact. One house, one village, one small area. Don't go. I feel like with horror, there's no need to go.
Well,
crazy
to be
big
fair, a lot of time horror can't go crazy big because it doesn't have the budget, and horror films as a genre are relatively low budget a lot of the time because they make a shitload more money than they do for the outlay.
Very good point.
My only issue, I like the look of it. It definitely looks like, the mum's terrifying in the trailer. That mummies with a maggots line is pretty harsh.
Ah!
Yeah, did you just see that? But what did you just see? What made you scream like a girl?
No, it's the open up now bit where she's she's outside the door. I don't want to give that mum a kiss. She
deserves to die horribly in a bucket of blood.
Hell, why would you open the door?
Well, this has been David's live watch of the Evil Dead Rise trailer.
Oh, I'm on the cheese grater bit. That wasn't that bad, bro.
Well, that was worth me dragging this out so you could watch the trailer again, isn't it?
You know what? I have seen this trailer.
Anyway, I'm still quite hyped for this. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. What about you?
I'll go 7 as well. I feel like that's fair.
And May, we're on to a 10th film in a franchise, David. What film is number 10 can you think is out this year?
A 10th film in a franchise?
In a franchise. Starring Rita Moreno.
Oh, Fast and Furious.
Jason Statham, Jason Momoa. Brie Larson has been added to the cast. And of course, it's all about family.
Yeah, Fast and Furious.
Directed by Louis Leterrier. And yet, somehow we've reached 10 films in the Fast and the Furious franchise. And David, I'm going to be honest, I've not watched any of them since the second film.
I've not watched any of them since Tokyo Drift, I think.
Which is the third film.
Fourth, maybe? I don't know. I maybe watched the one after that. I can't remember. Yeah, I stopped watching it when it got good, apparently. And when people came... This is the franchise that I genuinely... It boggles my brain how it makes so much money. It always it's always up there. Biggest film of the year. It generates so much money. Like, top 10 films of all time money.
Right, so it was just idling along. That's good for, car films. And I think the fifth film is where everyone said it started getting good again. When they brought in Statham and The Rock. If I remember rightly, people said 5 and 6 were great. 7 was a bit pants.
Didn't the last one bring in John Cena as his brother? Like, out of fucking nowhere.
Who had not been mentioned in the previous 8 films, yeah. Fast 10 adds Jason Momoa, so we got Aquaman, and we got Brie Larson, Captain Marvel in it. So it's literally the fast Marvel DC crossover you were hoping for. Well, probably not for the rest of us. I almost feel sorry for Jack Reacher actor Alan Ritchson who's in this, because he's in the cast, but I can literally guess, with all these big names in it, he's going to get next to no screen time and essentially just be a muscle-bound henchman, because his profile's really not big enough to take away from the bigger names. So, David, this gets from me a 2 out of 10, because I've got no intention of seeing this, because even if it gets great reviews and everyone says, oh no, it's brilliant, you've got to go and see it, I would have 8 previous films to catch up on, and I do not want to waste a day of my life on this franchise.
1 out of 10.
Wow, you went lower.
Well, for the exact same reason.
But you've seen more of than me. You've seen 3. I only saw 2.
Yeah, but I don't know why you went 2.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could go lower and give it a 0, but then that would seem mean. People like it. That's why we mentioned it.
I get it. I guess. Well, I don't get it. But I understand that people enjoy it. I just don't understand why people enjoy it.
Well, David, what I think is going to be a film out in May that might make more money than Fast 10, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, directed by James Gunn, starring Chris Pratt and just, all the Guardians, because I can't be asked to say their names. And I think this has a good shout for being the most anticipated comic book movie of the year, as James Gunn gets his Marvel swan song, as he is now the DC Uberlord, and it's a farewell at least to his roster of the Guardians of the Galaxy lineup. And as we broke down on episode 51, all bets are off of our hero surviving this final third volume. What you can expect is comedy, space battles, and genuine heart-wrenching emotion as we say goodbye to these characters for the final time. He could kill them all, couldn't he, David? He could kill them all. That monster. You're a monster, James Gunn. But yeah, so 10 out of 10, David. I can't wait to see this film.
The website I'm on to look at all these films.
Yeah.
The bit for this film says, writer-director James Gunn follows his giddy, irrelevant... No, that's not irrelevant. That's dyslexia. Never mind. My bad, guys. I am looking forward to this one, just because James Gunn's not missed with Guardians yet. The same, in a kind of weird way, I'm hoping it doesn't tie in with the rest of the MCU, because I feel like it's so fucking in a bad place.
I don't think it's going to.
I'd give this a 7 in terms of excitement.
A 7, okay. I think this is the most anticipated comic book film of the year from everyone, to be fair, because he's not made a bad Guardians film yet. I know everyone loved the first one. Some people weren't as hot on the second, but it's still a great film no matter what you say. And he gets to round off his trilogy and leave on his own terms. So I think that's great. So yeah, I really can't wait to see this. And in June, we have a Transformers film, Rise of the Beasts, that I didn't even know was being made. However, the good news, people, is it's not directed by Michael Bay. Obviously, he's producing, but it's directed by Stephen Caple Jr. And let's hope he is, David, capable of directing a good Transformers film. Starring Anthony Ramos, Dominic Fishback, and of course Peter Cullen, and more of my bad puns. Michael Bay is not directing, and Steve Caple Jr. actually directed Creed 2. And the film is set in the early 90s, and just to confuse us even more, it's going to introduce 3 new Transformers races into the mix. So as well as the Autobots and Decepticons, you're going to have the Maximals, the Predacons, and the Terracons. I have no idea who the last 3 are, David.
I found it difficult early on to tell the difference between the 2 others that you just mentioned.
Just the Autobots and the Decepticons, the main ones.
Yeah, when you had them similar colours, and then
it was terrible design.
I couldn't tell the difference. Who was the bad guys?
I was purely a Generation 1 Transformers fan as a kid.
So you'll know this is loosely based on Beast Wars, then. Tell me about Beast Wars.
I don't know anything about Beast Wars, so I checked out before Beast Wars. When I say Generation 1, the only animal ones we had were the Dinobots. Why couldn't you do the Dinobots properly, man? It's in one of the shitty ones.
Were Dinobots in it? I don't know. I've seen the first 2, I think, and then they were both terrible.
Oh, no. So there's a film, right? There's one of the shit ones, the really bad ones, the long
Dark Side
ones,
of the Moon,
no
that's
editing.
one. That's a Transformers film. Is it in that one?
I can't remember. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to them. I watched it and I was disappointed every time. I think I live tweeted about how much it was ruining my childhood when one of them came out. But there was one of the Transformers films when the Dinobots turn up, and they are awesome.
I feel like it's going to be Age of Extinction. That sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, if this is the one where it starts off with Stanley Tucci and suddenly there's a whole Knights of the Round Table thing with Transformers, then yeah, you can tell that someone was smoking lots of drugs in the office when that was written. But, I mean, why didn't you do... So anyway, in that film, I'm assuming, the Dinobots turn up and Grimlock who's the king. He's just awesome. And then they absolutely kick ass of everyone, and then they disappear. And they don't come back at all in the film. You're like, but wait, why wouldn't you call the Dinobots? They're literally like awesome, and no one's mentioned them for an hour and a half of this action scene. But anyway, do you know what? I'm not sure if this is supposed to actually follow on from 2018's Bumblebee, which was the best live-action Transformers movie, hands down. Yes, even better than the first Bay one.
Is Optimus Prime, like, is he still alive?
Do you mean the actor who plays him, Peter Cullen?
No. I mean the character.
Well, this is a reboot.
I swear he died like 5 times.
He dies in every other one, or every one. Yeah, but I think this one is supposed to be a sequel to 2018's Bumblebee. So it follows on. So it's going to be set in the 90s, because now, David, we're in a scary place. We're into 2020s. The 90s is 30 years ago, 40 years ago in some cases, and 30 years ago. It's 30 years ago. I'm terrible at maths.
I was going to say, I'm 92 and I'm 30, so...
Yeah, so the 90s essentially are now old. And I hope, from what I've seen of the trailer, the robot designs are actually quite good. And you can tell quite... I mean, if you're introducing 3 more races of Transformers, Bay's biggest
I could
issue
tell
was
that one's meant to be an animal.
Exactly. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to be more Bumblebee than Bayhem. So I'm giving it a cautious 6 out of 10. And I will go and see it in the cinema if the next trailer isn't really, really bad. For you, David.
2 out of 10 for the same reason as Fast and the Furious, but with less to get to it, I suppose.
What I would say, though, David, if the trailer for it is good, the next one, and it comes out and there's a bit of good buzz about it, all you need to do is watch Bumblebee, which is a lovely film. It's essentially Herbie, but with Bumblebee as Herbie.
I don't think you remember Herbie.
Yeah, did he not transform into a giant robot? Was Haley Steinfeld not in it? But yeah, no, look, Bumblebee's definitely worth a watch, man. It's really good. John Cena's in it, and you can tell who the Transformers are because they went with the Generation 1 designs. And also there's a prologue set on Cybertron that looked awesome, and everyone was like, get this guy to do like the next Transformers film, and then they didn't because he didn't make enough money. Anyway, also in June, we're going across the verse, David. Across the Spider-Verse. And written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, this is a sequel to the excellent Into the Spider-Verse from 2018, which sees Miles Morales joining up with Gwen Stacy to go on a mission to save the Spider people from every universe from a mysterious new villain who is basically trying to wipe out them in all the multiverses. And when they enter the multiverse, they meet its group of protectors, a group of Spider people called Spider Force. Now, the 2018 original was an all-time classic and the one good example of what Sony has done recently with their Marvel properties. And a third film is already planned for release in 2024 because I think originally there was going to be Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2 released in the same year. But obviously realising it's going to make all the money and they need all the money, Part 1's coming out this year, Part 2 is going to be coming out next year.
Yeah, no, super excited for it. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. I'm going a 7 out of 10 because I saw it in the cinema. I only watched it once and although I did enjoy it, I haven't gone back to it, so yeah.
I've watched it a few times. It's brilliant. Every single watch doesn't let you down. There's new funny elements in it. You know, Spider Pig, it's all good.
Spider Pig. David, we're going into also in June. You're going to take a trip under the sea.
Under the sea, under the sea. Down here it's better. Down there it's better. Take it from me. Under the sea.
I know nothing at all about Disney films or musicals, so over to you. Oh, I can already tell you I'm not going to go and see this in the cinema because I'm not the target audience, so it's going to get a 4 out of 10 for me.
Well, you've surely seen the original animated film from like the 90s or 91 or something it came out, did it? 1989 maybe?
Yeah, I was watching Batman then, David.
Well, any other normal person would know that this is basically going down the vein of Disney films that are basically cashing in on a cow and recreating...
Cashing in on the mouse?
Brilliant classic Disney films, animated films from that 80s and 90s period. For instance, we've already had The Lion King, we had The Jungle Book, which wasn't 80s or 90s. We had Aladdin. I think they're the only 3 we've had so far, correct?
Right.
I
don't know. What you're asking the wrong
But anyway,
person.
The Little Mermaid is going to be directed by Rob Marshall, starring Halle Bailey, which her casting in itself caused a massive uproar online because we're having a black Ariel. However, if you watch any of the representation videos that you can see on YouTube of little children being like, she looks like me, it is the most fucking heartwarming thing you'll ever see. And will instantly change your mind if you're one of those people.
And it's based on an animated film about a half woman, half mermaid. So I believe she could be any race she needs to be.
So yeah, it tells the story of The Little Mermaid.
So it's also, the cast is Halle Bailey, not Harry Bailey, so I didn't even get it right. And then the cast is young newcomer Halle Bailey, David Diggs,
It is
the man from Hamilton.
It is so easy to say Halle Berry, isn't it? Because
I know,
it's so
it really
similar.
is. Poor girl, I apologise now. You've got Jacob Tremblay, Aquafina, who's in everything, and Melissa McCarthy and Javier Bardem. Clearly they're going to be on villain duties. So what's your rating out of 10, David?
I'm quite looking forward to this. I'm going to go 7. Although I'd love to have been in that meeting at Disney where they're like, guys, we need to come up with new ideas, new fresh ideas. We're going to keep it interesting. And then someone just goes, what if we just do everything again?
Live action.
But it's live action. And the bloke's just like, yes.
You're promoted. You're now VP of Development.
Yeah.
Well, David, the next film I'm going to be talking about is one of my most anticipated years. And it stars, if you can believe, Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, Steve Carell, Tilda Swinton, Adrian Brody, Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Jason Schwartzman, Hope Davis, Jeff Goldblum, Matt Dillon, Jeffrey Wright, Edward Norton, William Dafoe, Maya Hawke, Tony Rafuri,
I want to stop
and...
This is one of those moments where I'm going to cut you off. You're just saying names at this point.
Didn't get to the last name. And starring, most bizarrely, Jarvis Cocker from 90s English indie band Pulp. And the film is, David, with that...
I don't know, you went through so many fucking names, I've forgotten what we were even talking about.
Well, I didn't say the name, I was just saying the names of the people in the film. And that film is Asteroid City. And it is a new Wes Anderson film. And I cannot wait. Now, all we know about the film is it's about a junior stargazer / space cadet conference when world-changing events occur. That's literally all we know about it. I'm guessing involving an asteroid of some kind. But hey, man, it's the new Wes Anderson film. And with all the actors in it, this has got to be a must-watch for me. However, my most disliked Wes Anderson film was actually his last film, The French Dispatch, which you can see on Disney Plus right now. And I've still not made it through it, the whole film, in 2 attempts. But with the story being based around a junior stargazer conference, I'm hoping this is going to be a lot more Moonrise Kingdom vibe from the setup than another.
What's your
French
most favourite Wes Anderson
film? I'm always tied between Life Aquatic and Royal Tenenbaums.
So mine would be either Royal Tenenbaums or Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I like Grand Budapest. I think that's his most popular and most successful in a lot of ways because it had the Oscar nom, didn't it, for Ralph Fiennes in it. But I don't know. There's just something about Tenenbaums. I love the montages, the opening Hey Jude stuff and everything there.
So my favourite bit in Tenenbaums, I think, is Luke Wilson when he's just shaving his head. I think it's just like I love a shaving head scene where it's powerful like that. I love it.
And I forget the music behind it, but the music's great. And just the line in it when he says, "Did you find my suicide note?" No.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great film.
That's probably one of the best. Gwyneth Paltrow have been in that as well. She was brilliant in that as well. So yeah, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I really can't wait to see this, David. What about you? Are you a Wes Anderson man?
Yeah, I am, but 7 out of 10, I'd say. Simply because I'd like to know more about it. And
let's be honest, we're probably not going to get a chance to see it in the cinema because his last 3 or 4 films have not been released in Cineworld in the big multiplexes. You have to go to an indie cinema to see him. So I guess that'll be a trip over to Ashford or Canterbury to see this one.
You'll be... It's a Wes Anderson film. How can it not be...
Because the last 3... French Dispatch was not in Dover Cinema. Isle of Dogs was not in Dover Cinema. And I'm pretty sure Moonrise Kingdom wasn't either. So there you go.
Wow.
Blair. And next up, David, also in the same month, we have... Dun, 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 dun.
Star Wars.
You dick. Yes, it's Star Wars and the Dial of Destiny, you utter knobhead. Yes, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, dodgy title aside, directed by James Mangold, starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, and Mads Nazi Mikkelsen. Sorry, Mads Mikkelsen playing a Nazi. Oh, it makes it sound like I'm saying he's a Nazi then, and I didn't mean it. He's just, yeah. Mads Mikkelsen is very good at playing bad guys, is what I meant to say. The last Indiana Jones film, according to Harrison Ford, and I wonder how they retcon the terrible Crystal Skull and his son Mutt. But anyway, the first trailer for this recently dropped, as we went through in a previous episode, and it had all the callbacks you would expect to classic moments of the franchise. You got a great lineup of Nazis with Boyd Holbrook, Mads Mikkelsen, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge in as Indy's goddaughter, Helena. And David, this trailer it really excited me. I wasn't that fussed about the idea of the film before, but from the classic John Williams music to the amazing de-aging effects, I really can't wait to see how they're going to end this classic franchise. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10 as well.
I go 8 out of 10. I 100% agree with you. The second the John Williams soundtrack kicks in, it hits you right in the nostalgia. and you're just back watching Raiders or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there was even a little callback to Raiders, wasn't there? There was a bit where you see the kind of the big rock in the tunnel when she's like moving behind it. I was like, yeah, there's going to be so many callbacks, man. I'm actually quite excited to see Mangold because he did Logan, right? So he knows how to finish a franchise really well.
What year is it in the film?
I think it's supposed to be in the 60s.
Yeah, because the original so I was trying to work
20s.
out roughly what year.
Was it 20s? The early one, the first ones, I think. So yeah. And from a film we were really excited about to a film that it's just going to limp over the line if it even gets released at all, David. And it's a shame for all the other people in the film because I'm going to be talking about. Can you guess?
Limping over the line.
Limping over the line. It's a speed joke. No, that was a bit too niche. David, that film is
The Flash.
Yes.
Okay, I got there.
Directed by Andy Muschietti, who had come off the 2 excellent It films, and then he's been stuck with this shithousery for the last couple of years. Starring Ezra Miller, Ben Affleck, maybe, we don't know, he might have been cut out of it completely. Sasha Calle, who was going to be the new Supergirl, we don't know what's happening with that now. Billy Crudup, and Michael Keaton, who again, might not even be in the film because his other appearance in Batgirl was cancelled. So yeah, barring any more shithousery from Ezra Miller, The Flash is finally due out in June this year. And again, as we've mentioned multiple times over the last year, we all feel really sorry for the other cast and crew on this film. Because Miller, as we've said before, obviously is in need of some professional help because he's had multiple arrests and all these allegations about him. And you've really got to feel sorry for the director who was coming, like I said, he was coming off the back of 2 excellent It films. And this was going to be the big Hollywood break of Derry Girl star Saoirse Monica Jackson. And he had the debut of the new Supergirl played by Sasha Calle. And even before Gunn was appointed, this franchise was in trouble because of Miller's behaviour. And now we know that pretty much all the Justice League are out of jobs. So where does this leave Michael Keaton's return as 1989, the OG Batman? This is a mess, man. But do you know what? The film could still potentially be good, despite all the surrounding bollocks around it.
It really doesn't have much going for it going into it.
It doesn't.
There's not a lot has worked out for it. To the point, have they even released a trailer at this?
No images, no trailer,
anything, yeah.
nothing. No, it's been buried. I mean, if I was them, I'd just release it on HBO Max, and I wouldn't even release it in the cinema.
It's to the point where release it at all, or do what they did with Batgirl and just Batgirl was
write
done,
it off,
wasn't it? Just like,
write it off as. I think The Flash probably cost a shitload more money than Batgirl. Batgirl was quite a mid-budget film, wasn't it? It was originally intended to just come out on HBO Max as like a film for that rather than cinema release. Do you know what? I think the best thing they can do with The Flash is have the whole, literally, like, Gunn now must be like, right, who's my new Flash going to be? You. Right, we're going to film a cameo. This is an end credit scene where we set up the next proper Flash. That's all he can do, really, isn't it? And hopefully bring over the other people who've been good in this.
Well, I guess with the obvious tie-in that James Gunn can do is the multiverse aspect that you mentioned. In any respect, because with multiverses, literally everything becomes canon. Absolutely everything. Think of anything in the world. You could have a fucking Flash Pokemon. You know, it's canon because it's part of a multiverse. Nothing is out of the realms of possibility.
So, where is your what's your rating on this? How excited
4?
are you? A 4.
I'm going to go. No, that was harsh. Maybe like a 6.
A 6. Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going for a cautious 6, right? Because again, you know what's going to be interesting for us, David, as editors. I just want to see how the hell they edit around this. Right. So we're hopefully optimistic for The Flash, but I just, as I said, I feel sorry for all the other cast and crew who've been stuck on it for years and had to deal with a load of shit. And David, that brings us to almost the end of the first part of this podcast, but it brings us to maybe the biggest box office head-to-head of the year.
Oh, shit.
2 films coming out on the same day. If you told me that Christopher Nolan, his new film, would be up against Greta Gerwig's new film, but that film would be Oppenheimer versus Barbie. Yes, no one predicted this time last year that the summer box office crown would be contested between Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer and Greta Gerwig's Barbie. Now, both are currently due to release on the same day, and the only real question is not which one do you see, it's which one do you see first. Because after the Oscar success of Lady Bird and Little Women, this is Gerwig's first big studio blockbuster with a bona fide star in Margot Robbie. It's also starring Ryan Gosling as Ken, we've got Issa Rae, Simi Liu, and Ncuti Gatwa as well. Well, what is this film going to be about? We have no earthly idea. But with Gerwig at the helm, you can expect something a bit more offbeat than a standard toy adaptation you're thinking. Have you seen the teaser trailer, David?
I was going to say you have no idea. What are you talking about? I'm expecting a full-on 2001 remake, but with Barbie as the main character. Yeah.
I think you might be disappointed if you're going in expecting that. But, I mean, the fact that you've got a Barbie trailer spoofing Kubrick, that just shows you the level of cinematic literacy we're going to get from Gerwig. And I think this film could be a big hit. I think she's going to do that thing where it's a massive hit with the critics and the public alike, firing on two different levels. So I think this could be one of the biggest films of the year, man. I'm very intrigued for this, and I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm going to go say 8 out of 10. The only real things that we do know see from it is that little clip at the very end of the spoof trailer, where they're all sort of like dancing and having a great time with themselves in whatever fucking world Barbie lives in.
Well, it's a Barbie world, clearly.
Barbie world. Oh yeah, good point. I should have got that. Damn it.
Yeah, you should. And of course, the other half of this equation is Oppenheimer. So we go from bright fun and garishly coloured to, well, it's going to be pretty damn depressing, man. But it's Nolan, so we know it's going to be good. And that is Oppenheimer, the other big July release, and it's Nolan back in biopic mode. Though this film has do you know how many cast members this film has as well, David? It was almost more than Asteroid City. I couldn't read them all out, but I will tell you, you have Cillian Murphy playing the man himself, Oppenheimer, and as well as Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Rami Malek, and Florence Pugh. And there's a shitload more people after that as well. But the film, just reading out the names would take almost as long as the trailer for the film. Suffice to say, this is on par with Dune 2 in terms of an absolutely massive, excellent cast. And both films, this and Dune 2, both have the Pugh in it as well. Now, as we said, Cillian Murphy takes the lead this time as the father of the atomic bomb.
Florence Pugh's in Dune 2?
Yes, she's been cast as the princess.
Oh, has she?
You not know this?
No, I didn't see that, no.
And you know Christopher Walken's been cast as the Emperor?
No. Has what's the character's name been cast?
Yes, Sting's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Austin Butler.
Is it? When did this news come out?
Months ago.
How
anyway,
did
David,
I not see that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, they literally...
I
well,
feel
they
like
had to
this would
confirm
be
all the
something you'd have told me.
Well, it's been few and far between with our pods, David. We've been very busy people. Very busy. Anyway, back to Oppenheimer, away from Dune 2. The Pew. So yeah, do you know what, man? I'm just glad we've had a new trailer recently, because, right, you haven't been to the cinema that much often, David. I have been going multiple times a week recently, and for months and months, every time I went to the cinema, there was a fucking countdown trailer that says, on this day, at this time, at this hour. And they kept updating it every week. And all it did was show you one shot from the film, pretty much, at the end. It was like maybe 2 or 3 shots. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm excited. And then it's got to the stage where like, I hate this trailer, I never want to see it again. Can you please show me a proper trailer from the film now? So, because of that trailer annoying the piss out of me, I've knocked a point off this, David. And it was like 3 or 4 months every time I went to cinema, there was that annoying trailer. So, this also gets an 8 out of 10 out of me. Because it's a new Nolan, the thing that's got going for it, bar the obvious, which is an amazing cast, massively interesting story, and it's Nolan. It's a biopic, which means it's not going to be incomprehensible goop like Tenet was. But it does lose a point of excitement for me because of that annoying as fuck teaser trailer. So, 8 out of 10 for me, David. What are your thoughts on Oppenheimer?
I'm going to go like a 7 out of 10. I know Christopher Nolan's been doing a lot of the bombs that go off aren't special effects. He's just setting off bombs in places.
That sounds like something...
I kind of want to see that.
Well, that sounds like something dangerous that people shouldn't be doing.
I don't want to see it.
Like, well, I mean, yeah, but that's what special effects are for. I mean, do we know if he's actually...
I'm really struggling to see Austin Butler as Fade Roofer.
Dude, it'll only be bizarre if he still keeps his album.
I trust him. I trust Villeneuve.
You trust in the Butler?
He's got my unwavering faith. I don't know words. Yes.
Loyalty. Well, David, that's almost all the time we have for on this episode. Oh, actually, no. First off, Oppenheimer and Barbie, the question is as well, not which one do I see, it's you see both, but which one do you see first? And again, I think this
Which
is
one
obvious.
do you think makes more money as well?
Barbie.
I think Barbie will make more money as well.
I think Barbie makes more money.
Yeah.
But which one do you see first?
Barbie. Barbie.
No. You see Oppenheimer first because it's a serious, upsetting biopic.
No, you got to think. What
And then you
Natasha
go Barbie
will
up.
see.
No, but this is me, David. I'm talking about when I see them both on the same day.
For you, no, cool. Me, I got to think. I got to think. What do I want to have a sulky partner when I get home? Because
wife by that time.
Good point. Do I want to have a sulky wife? You know what? I've got to start marriage correctly.
Well, and this is why, David, and we're going to have a new section coming up in our podcast quite soon, which is called "What's David Been Made to Watch?"
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
We'll get into it. Currently, I'm being made to watch something with Alan Carr in it, doing up a house in Italy or something.
That sounds horrific.
It's also got the woman from like Britain's Got Talent in it. I can't remember her name at the moment.
Don't know who any. I've heard of Alan Carr. I believe he's a comedian of some kind. I don't know anyone from Britain's Got Talent because I don't watch reality shows. Therefore, I feel sorry for you, David. But enjoy married life. But before we go today, David, we did ask you, not you personally, you as in the listener, your most anticipated movies as well. And we got some shout outs for some of our friends on some of the following pods. So the guys over at SP Film Viewers said Guardians 3, Beau is Afraid, and they're super psyched for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Cage Fighting Pod, one of the premier Nick Cage podcasts, said a few animated films properly ticking my pickle this year. Hey, his pickle, not ours. Spider-Verse 2, Super Mario, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The podcast nobody asked for, again, their name, not us being rude, Beau is Afraid, Evil Dead Rise, and Spider-Verse, although there's an awful lot of great stuff out this year. So, David, we're getting quite a lot of love for Beau is Afraid and Spider-Verse, which I think are both... I think Beau is Afraid is going to be critically well reviewed, hopefully, but I don't see it being a big hit, do you?
I hope it will be. I can't imagine it's going to make a lot of money unless the Ari Aster draw's gone beyond what I think it is,
And it's not. Right, so as always, you can follow us on Twitter at Needed Roads Run By Me, and you can follow us on Instagram at We Needed Roads Run By David. If you like what you hear, you can give us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice. It's always appreciated, as are funds on our Buy Me a Coffee to fund our podcast superstar lifestyle, and of course to buy us both a super yacht. And on the next episode of the podcast, we are going to go through all the movies that we're looking forward to seeing from August to the end of the year, and we're going to give you our top 10 most anticipated films of 2023. See you then.
Goodbye, people.
We Needed Roads.